Have you ever wondered why attempts to rebuild your life from Monday almost always end in a loud failure? We are used to believing in the Western model of productivity, which dictates grit your teeth, show iron willpower, and destroy your weaknesses. But in reality, this strategy turns us into a heavy oak tree during a hurricane. It resists the wind until the very last moment and then snaps with a loud crash right at the root. Japanese philosophy offers a completely different path. Look at the bamboo. During a severe storm, it does not fight the wind. It yields to it, bends, lets the elements pass through itself, and straightens up completely unharmed. Fighting your own brain directly is useless, and science proved this in a famous psychological experiment. Subjects were given a simple instruction. For 5 minutes, under no circumstances should they think about a white bear. As soon as this thought arose in their minds, they had to ring a bell. The result was stunning. The bell rang every single second, and the forbidden image completely captured the minds of the people. An attempt to rigidly suppress a desire forces your brain to focus on it twice as hard. This is exactly why diets turn into late-night kitchen raids, and deleting social media leads to hours of mindless scrolling. Your bad habit is not a sign of your weakness or a defect of will. It is a distorted but desperate attempt by your psyche to protect you from stress, boredom, or anxiety. And instead of declaring war on our own minds, we will apply the Eastern approach. We will learn to be flexible like bamboo and gently outsmart the protective radars of our subconscious. Here are 3 concrete steps that will permanently change your automatic reactions. To defeat a relapse, you first need to understand that your brain doesn't experience a failure the way your conscious mind does. When you break a habit or grab a cheat meal, your primitive brain feels a massive strike of dopamine. It's an ancient survival mechanism that mistakes pleasure for safety. But a second later, the prefrontal cortex wakes up and hits you with waves of guilt. This is where the deadliest trap opens. The shame loop. You feel bad because you failed, so your brain instantly demands comfort. And what is the easiest way for your brain to get comfort? The exact same bad habit you are trying to quit. You stress over a mistake, you feel shame, and you relapse again just to suppress that shame. It becomes a vicious, self-sustaining cycle. Western discipline forces you to self-flagellate. You call yourself weak, you promise to punish yourself with double workouts, or you isolate from everyone. But neurobiology shows that shame completely paralyzes the prefrontal cortex, the very part of your brain responsible for long-term planning and self-control. By drowning yourself in guilt, you literally turn off the internal brakes of your mind. Japanese culture solved this paradox centuries ago through the concept of Kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with golden lacquer. Instead of hiding the cracks or throwing the damaged bowl away, Japanese masters highlight the fractures, making the object more beautiful and resilient than before. A relapse is not a reason to destroy the whole structure and start from scratch. It is just a fracture that needs to be filled with understanding, not regret. We need to stop fighting the chemical storm inside our heads and start using it to rebuild the neural paths. To redirect the heavy river of your daily habits, you must first master neuroplasticity, or what ancient Eastern philosophers would call the radar of the mind. Every single repetition of an action is like a sharp stroke of a chisel carving a narrow path into solid stone. If you have spent 5 long years opening your phone the moment you wake up, that chemical canyon in your brain is incredibly deep. You cannot simply wish it away or destroy it with raw willpower. This is exactly where the legendary Kaizen strategy becomes your greatest hidden weapon. Western ambition always demands that you build a massive stone pagoda in a single day. You try to study for 4 hours straight without a break, or completely overhaul your lifestyle overnight. The protective radar of your subconscious immediately detects this massive sudden disruption and triggers a red alarm, forcing your body to retreat to familiar safety. Kaizen operates completely below that internal radar. It demands a single minute of focused work on your darkest, most exhausting day. Just 1 minute of reading a book, 1 single push-up on the floor, 1 neat line of code. To your conscious mind, 1 minute feels completely insignificant, almost like a joke. But to your neurobiology, that single minute is a massive seismic shift. It sends a powerful, undeniable message to your nervous system. We are still moving forward, even in the middle of a terrible storm. A single minute of focused effort when you are completely tired is worth infinitely more than 10 full hours of labor when you are highly motivated. Motivation is just a shallow puddle that quickly evaporates in the sun. Consistency is a deep underground spring that cuts through solid rock. Every time you choose the micro step over complete surrender, you place a single drop of golden lacquer into the fracture. You are no longer fighting the old path. You are gently carving a new one. When Western productivity demands that you push through exhaustion, ancient Japanese wisdom offers a far more sustainable answer: Ikigai. It is often translated as your reason for being, but on a practical daily level, Ikigai is not a grand, dramatic destiny. It is the quiet joy of small, meaningful actions. When you force yourself to build a habit purely out of cold obligation or self-hatred, your mind treats every single day like a grueling battle. But when an action aligns with a tiny spark of genuine curiosity or care, your nervous system stops resisting. You don't need massive willpower to brush your teeth, because it is seamlessly integrated into your reality. Your new identity must feel just as natural. However, even the strongest internal clarity will crumble if your physical environment is designed for failure. Japanese masters of architecture and martial arts understand a fundamental law: shape the space, and the mind will follow. If your room is scattered with distractions, toxic triggers, and friction, your brain is forced to spend massive amounts of energy just fighting off temptations. You are trying to grow a delicate cherry blossom tree in a harsh, dry desert. Environmental redesign means removing every unnecessary obstacle between you and your microstep. If you want to write in the morning, open the notebook and leave the pen ready on your desk the night before. If you want to stop checking your phone, place it in another room behind a closed door. You do not need to become a superhero with limitless discipline. You simply need to build an environment where making the right choice requires less energy than making the wrong one. Make the bad habit invisible and high friction. Make the golden step effortless and beautiful. The most dangerous trap on your journey toward change is not the missed workout, the slipped diet, or the untouched book. The true killer of progress is the brutal wave of shame that follows. When you slip, your ego instantly demands punishment. You tell yourself that you are weak, disciplineless, or fundamentally broken. But Western shame creates a vicious cycle. Stress drives you back to your bad habit for comfort, making the fracture in your identity even wider. Japanese culture offers a far wiser alternative through two deeply interconnected principles: Hansei and Kintsugi. Hansei is the art of honest, unemotional self-reflection. When a Japanese master fails, they do not drown in self-pity or scream at themselves. They simply look at the mistake with cold, calm curiosity. They ask, "Where did the system fail?" They do not blame the person. They examine the mechanism. This mindset leads directly to Kintsugi, the ancient art of repairing broken ceramics with glowing golden lacquer. In traditional Japanese philosophy, a cracked bowl is never thrown into the trash. It is not hidden away in shame, nor is it glued together to pretend the damage never happened. Instead, the cracks are highlighted with pure gold. The bowl becomes immeasurably more valuable, more resilient, and more beautiful precisely because it was broken. Your life and your habits work exact same way. A missed day is not a ruinous failure that resets your counter to zero. It is simply a crack in the ceramic. When you forgive yourself, analyze the slip without judgment, and make a tiny course correction, you're pouring gold into that crack. Stop treating your discipline like fragile glass that shatters forever at the first drop. Treat it like a Kintsugi bowl, stronger, wiser, and more unique at every mended seam. To make Kintsugi more than just a beautiful philosophy, you need a concrete, bulletproof tactical rule for your daily life. That rule is simple: never miss twice. Missing a single day, skipping one workout, or eating one bad meal is an isolated accident. It is a natural crack in the ceramic of your daily routine. But missing 2 days in a row is no longer an accident. It is the immediate beginning of a brand new destructive habit. When you fall off track today, your immediate goal is not to execute a heroic 5-hour punishment session tomorrow. Your only objective is to repair the seam as fast as humanly possible. If you skip your morning meditation, don't wait for next Monday to start over. Meditate for 30 seconds before you go to sleep tonight. If you break your diet at lunch, don't write off the entire evening. Make your very next meal clean and light. This mindset is rooted in the Japanese concept of Shoshin, the beginner's mind. A master who maintains Shoshin treats every single moment as a fresh, clean slate, completely untainted by past failures or ego. They don't carry the weight of yesterday's mistakes into today's actions. By practicing micro-recovery, you train your brain to become hyper-resilient. You teach your nervous system that a relapse is not a total collapse, but merely a brief pause in momentum. Slipping once is human. Recovering instantly is the mark of a true master. Stop letting one bad hour ruin an entire week. Never missing twice is your shield. Close the fracture immediately, put the golden lacquer on the seam, and keep moving forward. Look around you right now, at this very second. This is the absolute non-negotiable moment to stop waiting for a miracle, stop waiting for permission, and start actively shaping your own reality. Stop asking why you fail, why you break, and start fiercely examining the system you live in every single day. Your next move is absolutely everything. You cannot rebuild your entire complex life in a single morning, but you can definitely build a new, clean environment in a single hour. When you finish this video, stand up immediately. Turn off notifications on every social app. Delete the time-wasting software that steals your focus. Block the toxic numbers that drag you down. Physically hide the TV remote. Stop allowing useless friction to enter your space and start aggressively removing obstacles between you and your first micro-step. Do not overthink it. Just act. Every single drop of golden lacquer that you pour into your mistakes makes you vastly stronger, more resilient, and more valuable than the person who never fell. That person is just a fragile glass ornament, ready to shatter at the first real drop. You are a Kintsugi warrior, forged in struggle, mended in wisdom, and beautiful because of your unique scars. The Western world rewards the fleeting illusion of heroic effort, but real transformation happens in the invisible, consistent moments that nobody sees. It happens in the quiet choice to choose the 1-minute routine over total comfort when you are exhausted. It happens when you finally choose curiosity over self-judgment. Stop fighting the old river of bad habits. Stop drowning in shame. Simply lay down the first solid stone for a new pathway. Build a reality where making the right choice is natural, effortless, and beautiful. This is not about being perfect from day one. This is about making one conscious choice, every single day, to fill your fractures with gold. Choose to mend. Choose to rebuild. Choose consistency over raw speed. Maintain the mind of a beginner every single morning. Never miss twice. Protect your environment and honor the journey. It is time to make your next move. Stop waiting. Fill your world with gold and define your victory. Subscribe to join our tribe of builders. Leave a like if you're committing to your first micro step today, and let's rebuild together. Build the foundation right now. Create the first drop. Rebuild. Rise. Fill your scars and become whole again. The path is open. Walk it today.